Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB and today is the 13th of April 2023. Now the CPI numbers were out and surprisingly, the CPI numbers aka the inflation numbers were definitely much lesser than what it was anticipated, and because of that, the price of Bitcoin definitely crossed the $30,000 mark. And guys, yesterday there was a massive event in the world of Ethereum, and the Ethereum Shanghai upgrade did go live, and this definitely reflected on the price of Ethereum, so we'll definitely go ahead and talk about that in today's episode. Now guys, listen, in the month of June, there's a massive event going to take place, particularly regarding the US debt ceiling. Now what kind of an impact will that have on the US dollar, on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency? We will definitely go ahead and explore that in today's episode. Now we also have some news regarding Canada, and looks like cryptocurrency exchanges are leaving the left-leaning country, and Paxos has decided to shut down its operation. Along with that, DYDX, a cryptocurrency exchange, has also decided to leave Canada, and OKX, one of the leading cryptocurrency exchanges in the world, also decided to leave Canada. So it looks like Canada as such is not proving out to be a safe haven for cryptocurrency exchanges, and blockchain.com and Deribit, they are also on the verge of halting their services in Canada pretty soon. And look guys, I've said this time and over again, left-leaning ideologies and left-leaning politicians are not in favor of cryptocurrencies, blockchain, open source and freedom of speech. Right-wing politicians and right-wing ideologies are definitely in favor of freedom of speech, Bitcoin, open source and quiet law. Now, like we do in every Crypto and Coffee a Day podcast, we're going to be discussing two news from Dubai, UAE and Middle East. Now both the news have to do with Metaverse, and the first news is that the Dubai Customs, they have introduced Metaverse to revolutionize customs leadership development. So we'll definitely go ahead and explore that in today's episode. And all the way from Saudi Arabia, we have a massive event called as the Riyadh event, and World Metaverse Council is the strategic partner. And guys, few months ago, I did release an episode discussing the world of Saudi Arabia in the Metaverse. Now, who's going to be a leader in the Metaverse? Will it be Saudi Arabia or will it be the UAE? So we'll definitely touch base on that. So quite a lot to cover in today's episode, so let's get started with it right away. Welcome to the Crypto and Coffee at 8, the daily podcast that keeps you up to date on all latest developments in the world of cryptocurrencies, blockchain, and NFTs. Join us Monday to Friday as you kick off your day with a cup of coffee and a deep dive into the exciting and rapidly evolving world of digital assets. We'll cover the latest news and trends in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, as well as delve into the growing world of NFTs or non-fungible tokens and Metaverse. Plus, we'll keep you updated on the latest developments from Dubai, UAE, and the wider Middle East region. Whether you're a seasoned crypto enthusiast or just getting started, Crypto and Coffee at 8 has something for you. Our expert host will provide insight and analysis on the most important topics in the industry and help you stay up to date on the latest developments. We'll bring you interviews with leading figures in the crypto and blockchain space and explore the ways in which these technologies are changing the world around us, from the impact on traditional financial systems to the potential for revolutionizing industries and transforming societies. We'll cover it all on Crypto and Coffee at 8. So tune in and join us for a daily dose of Crypto and Coffee at 8, and let's stay ahead of the curve together. We'll start your day off right with the most important news and insights from the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain, and the Metaverse, and help you navigate this exciting and rapidly evolving landscape. In Crypto and Coffee a Day, the daily podcast covers the latest developments in the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain, and the Metaverse. We'll also bring you updates on the latest news from Dubai, UAE, and wider Middle East region. This also includes a range of topics such as developments in the local and blockchain industry, including new projects and initiatives, regulatory updates, and policies related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region, local and regional events and conferences focused on crypto and blockchain, interviews with leading figures in Dubai, UAE, and Middle East crypto and blockchain community, coverage of any significant news or events related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region. By covering these local and regional developments, in addition to the wider world of cryptocurrency and blockchain, Crypto and Coffee at 8 aims to provide a comprehensive overview of the industry and its impact on the Dubai, UAE, and Middle East region. Now before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message, so check this out. Firstly guys, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen, guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now, guys, since you've taken care of that, let's look at the global cryptocurrency market. Now, surprisingly, guys, the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is pumped up, but unfortunately, the global cryptocurrency market is relatively the same. It is at $1.25 trillion, and since the last 24 hours, it is marginally gone up by 1.61%. Now, the total crypto market volume over the last 24 hours is also not that high. It is only at $48.74 billion. But if you look at the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum, they have definitely pumped up. It just means one thing, guys. If the global cryptocurrency market hasn't pumped up, and if the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum is pumped up, which means people are buying Bitcoin and Ethereum, now since the last 24 hours, the total crypto market volume has increased by 9.34%. Now, there's a massive matrix, particularly in the world of DeFi, and this might be the very first time the total value locked is at $54.86 billion. But surprisingly, the volume is still ridiculously low, and it is at $4.14 billion. And guys, what happened yesterday is because of the Shanghai upgrade, older versions of DeFi protocol did suffer some attack. So older versions of DeFi yield aggregator called as Yearn Finance was exploited for $11.6 million. So essentially what happened is an attacker minted 1.2 quadrillion tokens by exploiting a vulnerability, and he sold them for $11.6 million in stable coins. Now listen, guys, this is definitely not ideal. And there were also reports about Aave, which was also exploited. An Aave spokesperson did have an interview with Decrypt, and they told that the exploiter ran away with few tokens. And Aave's founder, Stanley Kuchelo, also confirmed that the project was not directly impacted. Now look, guys, if you're a notorious actor, you're looking at these events and trying to exploit the system. But the big question is, if this is an exploit, is it still legal? Now, this is something that you need to think about. Now, so far as the total value locked is concerned, Lido is still dominating with $12.08 billion locked in its protocol. And so far as its dominance is concerned, it is at 22.03%. And later on in the episode, guys, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts and opinion on what the Shanghai upgrade was, how it went, and what is the future of Ethereum. Now, as of today, DeFi accounts for 10.19% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. Now, surprisingly, the total value locked for the remaining top 4 protocols in the top 5 is relatively the same. MakerDAO is at $7.97 billion. Aave is number 2nd, and the total value locked is $5.83 billion. Core Finance is number 4th, and the total value locked is $4.74 billion, and Uniswap is at $4.28 billion. Now guys, let's look at the volume of stablecoins. It is still ridiculously low, and it is still accounting for a high percentage of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. Now as of today, 13th of April, the total volume in stablecoins is $43.89 billion, and it is accounting for 90.05% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. And this, guys, is definitely not ideal. And so far as the volume of stablecoins is concerned, Tether USDT is clearly leading the pack, and the 24-hour trading volume is $32.60 billion. Now, could it be possible that the attacker from DeFi yield aggregator was using Tether, or was he using Circle USDC? I really need to go out and check and do more investigation. The Circle USDC's 24-hour volume is $4.70 billion, and Binance BUSD's volume is $4.03 billion. Now guys, let's look at the market cap, 24-hour trading volume and dominance. Now it's no surprise that Ethereum's dominance has definitely pumped up, and it is at 19.30%, whereas Ethereum's dominance has gone down, but it is still good at 46.80%. Now the market cap of Bitcoin is on the verge of crossing the $600 billion mark if the trend continues. As of now, it is $585 billion, whereas Ethereum is $240 billion. Now look guys, despite the Shanghai upgrade, the market cap of Ethereum is less than 50% of that of Bitcoin's market cap. And the only reason for me to track this data, comparing the market cap 24-hour trading volume between Bitcoin and Ethereum, was to check if Ethereum does flip Bitcoin so far as the market cap is concerned. Now I was under the impression, and my prediction was that after the London fork upgrade, 12 to 18 months from then, Ethereum will flip Bitcoin so far as the market cap is concerned. Clearly, I was 100% wrong, and later on I'll also talk about some prediction in the world of Nasdaq, in the world of S&P 500 and Bitcoin, given by one of the most iconic economists. Now, so far as the 24-hour trading volume is concerned, Bitcoin's 24-hour trading volume is $17.7 billion, whereas Ethereum is at $13.5 billion. Now, in today's episode, guys, let's very briefly look at the market cap of privacy coins and Web3 protocols. Monero is clearly an outlier, and its market cap stands at $2.97 billion, whereas Mask Network is at $417 million. Zcash is at $413 million. Now, let's look at Web3 protocols. Chainlink, guys, its market cap is $3.84 billion. So Chainlink's market cap is more than Monero's market cap. This idly is a shocking detail, but definitely not surprising. Filecoin is $251.2 billion, whereas the Graph is $1.34 billion. Now guys, let's look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. It is currently at $30,341. And guys, later on in the episode, we will once again revisit Balaji Srinivasan's bet on the price of Bitcoin reaching $1 million. It is extremely unlikely, but definitely go ahead and discuss that. Now, what happened yesterday is a large Bitcoin investor sent some $300 million in Bitcoin to crypto exchange Bitfinex, and this news was reported by CoinDesk. He did it on Wednesday. Now, if you want to find out the details, on Twitter there is a user ID called as LookOnChain, and according to Bitcoin blockchain data, this Bitcoin whale transferred 11,000 Bitcoin tokens to Bitfinex wallet at a Bitcoin price of $30,114. And this just means, guys, a smart whale transferred 11,000 Bitcoins, which is roughly around $330 million few hours ago. And the whale also received 46,542 Bitcoins, which is roughly around $935 million from Bitfinex at an average price of $20,083. Now, what he did was he then transferred 36.5 thousand, which is roughly around $1 billion worth of Bitcoin to Bitfinex at a price of $28,039. So currently, he holds 10,042 Bitcoins, which just means he just made a profit of $390 million. And guys, you can actually check when he actually got involved. And this particular individual got involved in Bitcoin as late as 2020 or 2022. So definitely a lot of room for you to become millionaires if you already have millions. And one thing which I've said often, guys, right now Bitcoin is becoming a play for multi-millionaires, billionaires, celebrities and influencers, which I particularly don't like. Now guys, let's discuss some news regarding Ethereum. Now Ethereum has crossed the $2,000 mark, and as of today it is $2,001. and since the last 24 hours, it is up by 3.85%, and since the last 7 days, it is up by 7.02%. And clearly, guys, this is revolving the news regarding the Ethereum Shanghai upgrade, and Ethereum has crossed the $2,000 mark after the much-awaited Shanghai and Capella upgrade that was implemented into the Ethereum mainnet last night. So we'll definitely go ahead and talk about that. And one thing, guys, which I did mention yesterday, this might be the very few times when news surrounding Ethereum is having a positive impact on the price of Bitcoin. Now, Binance Coin is at $323. Since the last 24 hours, it is marginally up by 0.51%. Since the last 7 days, it is up by 3.52%. Now, guys, yesterday there was massive news surrounding US, and the consumer price index were out, and the inflation is at 5%, which is significantly lower than expected. Now, the official news in order to check is via the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The consumer price index for all urban consumers rose 0.1% in March on a seasonal adjusted basis after increasing 0.4%. And guys, over the last 12 months, all items indexed increased 5% before seasonal adjustments. Now look, guys, oddly speaking, this should be a very positive news. However, Barron has put up a very important article which states that the inflation data from March might be strong enough to push the Federal Reserve Board to raise interest rates against next month. Now you need to remember that Jerome Powell, the head of Federal Reserve Board, will be announcing the interest rate hike on the 3rd of May. Now the FOMC meeting is scheduled to take place on the 3rd of May. But what is really important to note is that, guys, an economist called as Harry Dent does actually expect the biggest crash in a lifetime, and this would happen somewhere between now and mid-June. And guys, listen, in my Crypto and Coffee a Day podcast, I very specifically mentioned that in the month of May to June, what is going to happen is the US debt ceiling will be crossing over, and that will have a significant impact because it might be the very first time the US will be defaulting on its debt. And because of that, the US economy might completely collapse. Now, really, I'm not sure what kind of an impact this will have on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. But Harvey Dent, he had an interview with David Lynn. What I'd really recommend you to do is, guys, watch the entire interview on YouTube. Now, he has given out some price prediction of what he said in the next coming months. S&P 500 will go down to 86%, Nasdaq to crash by 92%. But more importantly, Bitcoin, according to him, will go down by 95 or 96%. But what are your thoughts, guys? All price predictions are 100% right, 50% of the time. And few days ago in my Crypto and Coffee at 8 podcast, I did talk about Coin Bureau. He actually mentioned that after the 15th, which is the cutoff date for Americans to file the tax returns, the next focus of the Biden administration will be to tackle the rising debt ceiling in the US. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the US debt ceiling is roughly around $30 trillion. This, guys, is absolutely catastrophic. And more importantly, the geopolitical tensions between Russia and Ukraine, OFAC, and BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, and China, leaving the US dollar and focusing on digital yuan, is definitely not ideal for Americans. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens to the US economy and what kind of an impact will it have on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Now, guys, let's discuss a massive event that took place yesterday. An Ethereum Shanghai upgrade was triggered at 10:27, few hours before midnight, and roughly half an hour after the Shanghai upgrade was activated, some 285 withdrawals in Epoch 194,408 had been processed for 5,413 Ethereum, which I believe is roughly around $10 million. That this data can be tracked on Beacon Chain and CoinDesk, guys. They have provided an excellent summary. So let me give you a breakdown on this. The Ethereum's blockchain's much anticipated Shanghai hard fork, also known as Capella, has been completed, marking a historical milestone in the multi-year transition to a full proof-of-stake network. And the upgrade, which split on a new blockchain, was triggered at 22.27 Universal Time or UTC and finalized few minutes after, which I believe was at 22.42 UTC. Now listen, guys, with the upgrade completed, users who stake their Ethereum to secure and validate transactions on the blockchain can now withdraw their staked Ether and redeem accrued rewards. And during epoch number 194,408, approximately half an hour after the Shanghai upgrade was activated, 285 withdrawals were processed worth around $10 million, and the hard fork was watched by 4,000 people in Capella mainnet watch party. And in yesterday's article, I did publish quite a number of people who were having a watch party. and Ethereum Vitalik Buterin, the co-founder of Ethereum blockchain, also spoke about the future of the blockchain. And Vitalik Buterin, guys, did actually say that the hardest and the fastest parts of Ethereum blockchain transition were now over, but there were still significant things that need to be done, such as scaling transactions to make them faster and cheaper. Now, what he also said is that scaling would be the next issue that blockchain tackled after Shanghai, as failure to do so would lead people to being stuck paying $500 per transaction. Now, one thing you need to remember, guys, when Ethereum went through the merge, that is the hard fork that switched out its old consensus mechanism from proof of work to proof of stake, validators were introduced to keeping blockchain running. In proof of stake, validators have to stake at least 32 ETH to participate in the block validation process and secure the Ethereum network. The more ETH a validator stakes, the more likely they are to propose a block of data transactions to be confirmed on the blockchain. Now, liquid staking providers also emerged an alternative for users who could not stake a full 32 Ethereum. Lido, guys, which I've been tracking on a daily basis, is the largest liquid staking provider, and they control about 23% of the ETH stake, while Coinbase, Kraken, and Binance control another 22% of the Ethereum stake. Now, guys, listen, since the Shanghai upgrade is completed, validators can unstake the Ethereum to partial or full withdrawals. And in yesterday's episode, that is on the 12th of April, I did give very brief explanation on what is the difference between full withdrawals and partial withdrawals. And partial withdrawals can become accessible when the upgrade was triggered, and full withdrawals will be possible in the next coming weeks. But my big question is, guys, what impact will Ethereum 2.0 upgrade have on cryptocurrency scalability and transaction speed? Mention your thoughts and comments in the comment sections below. And in yesterday's episode, guys, I did talk about a really interesting blog which does go ahead and explore all these details. So listen to my episode for yesterday. And the next question, guys, is how will Ethereum's market share and price be affected by the increasing popularity of other blockchain protocols such as Polkadot, Solana, or even EOS? Now, guys, let's discuss some news from an extreme left-leaning country, that is Canada. It looks like Canada is definitely not pro into freedom of speech, definitely not into cryptocurrency, open source, and innovation. And Paxos, along with many other companies, have joined others to decide to depart from the country in the face of increased regulatory requirements, and they have published an official blog where they have mentioned that Paxos will continue to assess its readiness to re-enter the Canadian market in cooperation with the OSC at a future date. But along with Paxos, even DYDX, an exchange, has decided to shut down its operation in Canada over unfavorable regulations. And few days ago, guys, I'm pretty much sure I did mention about OKX, and they had also decided to pull out of Canada, citing new regulations. And OKX did actually notify the customers via email that they would not allow opening of new accounts and would completely stop its operation by the 24th of March 2023. Now look, guys, regulations are definitely great as long as it protects investors, as long as it protects people, but regulations should not stifle innovation. Now, so far as centralized exchanges are concerned, I 100% agree that there needs to be regulations as long as it protects investors, as long as it protects people. But in case of Canada, because it has a left-leaning administration, they're definitely not in favor of cryptocurrency. They're not in favor of average individuals and people having control over the money. And that, guys, is definitely not ideal. Now, guys, let's discuss two news regarding UAE. And both the news have to do with Metaverse. And the first news is about Dubai Customs. And they plan to revolutionize custom leadership development programs using Metaverse technology. And this approach, guys, will harness the potential of advanced technologies to transform custom operations. And Dubai Customs is committed to driving innovation and advancing Dubai's economic agenda. And the vision, as we know, is aligned with the ambition of Dubai Metaverse strategy launched by His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum. And Dubai Custom aims to position Dubai at the forefront of the global Metaverse community and cement its status as one of the world's top 10 cities in the world. And the Metaverse training program provides a detailed explanation of the technology's ability to transform custom operations, and the program covers the features and potential challenges of implementing Metaverse in the custom sector. And the program emphasizes the importance of utilizing the technology securely, and the program blends academic and practical learning through 3 training modules, that is innovative customs management, digitization of custom operations, and agile leadership. And the Custom Leadership Development Center in the Human Resources Division supports the continuity and sustainability of the program. Now let me try to give out some more information regarding the news. because the University of Dubai has collaborated with Dubai Customs in providing them with a training program, and the program, guys, has graduated 16 inspection managers in its 6th batch. 137 employees in all functional areas have completed the program in the last 5 batches, and Dubai, as we know, wants to be the world leader in Metaverse and blockchain technology, and one of the visions of Sheikh Hamdan is for Dubai to be the top 10 city in the world so far as Metaverse is concerned. And guys, we at Blockchain DXB have a standalone episode on Dubai Metaverse strategy, so definitely urge you to go and check it out. And Dubai Customs Metaverse training program contributes to increasing custom revenues resulting from digitization, and this, guys, is absolutely positive news. Now look, guys, I do have a Metaverse Everything podcast that I release every Fridays, and in tomorrow's episode I'll once again very briefly touch base on this. Now guys, let's discuss another news to do with Metaverse, and this is to do with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the World Metaverse Council is a strategic partner for Riyadh event. So let me try to give out some more information, because the website for Metaverse Council is wmetac.com. That is W for World, M for Metaverse, E for Elephant, T for Tango, A for Alpha, C for Charlie.com. But when I went to the website, they have a registration platform as well. Now this part of time I really am not sure if the registration is free, but I've definitely gone ahead and put out my application. And look, guys, if you're someone who's working in the Metaverse industry or are curious into the Metaverse industry, I would definitely recommend you checking out this website, because the Metaverse Council is a platform leading the dialogue for an equitable and inclusive life in the Metaverse. Now listen, guys, so far as Bitcoin is concerned, Bitcoin has severe allergic reaction to centralized entities such as Metaverse Council or any centralized figures. But Metaverse, I do feel having a centralized entity backing them will be better, but the World Metaverse Council is planning to be open and decentralized, but the fact that when you put up an application, there is a centralized entity who decides who will be accepted or not, this is a big no for me. But nonetheless, what the website states is that they promote collaboration to create an equitable, inclusive and truly decentralized metaverse and maximize the incredible economic and social possibilities and minimize harms. And the World Metaverse Council is a platform leading the dialogue for an equitable and inclusive life in the metaverse. And the World Metaverse Council is the first world body bringing the metaverse creators, developers together globally, and they aim for a world where humans and their avatars enjoy freedom of speech and freedom from fear and want. And also, guys, the World Metaverse Council seeks to promote the development of friendly relations between metaverses and to form a common standard for metaverses everywhere. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the future of the World Metaverse Council is. But let me try to give out some information where does Saudi Arabia fit in, because the World Metaverse Council is a strategic partner for the Metaverse Discovery event in Riyadh, and the event is scheduled to take place at Crown Plaza RDC Hotel on 8th of June, and the event will offer an immersive journey into the metaverse, and the event will celebrate the innovative contributions of organizations to the development of the metaverse, and the World Metaverse Awards will be presented at the event. Now, really, I'm not sure if it is decentralized, who's the one that decides who gets the award. Now, look, guys, using the word decentralized or distributed seems like a marketing gimmick, but nonetheless, the awards will recognize excellence within the metaverse space, and the awards will showcase the pioneering achievements of organizations across various categories, and the categories includes finance, smart cities, tourism and healthcare, retail and government. And guys, an individual award will be presented to honor the World Metaverse Leader of the Year, and the World Metaverse Council seeks to promote collaboration to create an equitable, inclusive and decentralized metaverse. Now really, I'm not sure how the World Metaverse Council will be decentralized. The fact that they have the word council definitely doesn't seem right, but nonetheless, the council aims to maximize the incredible socio-economic possibilities of the metaverse, and the council will host a working group meeting of the executive board in Riyadh, and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is an excellent choice for these two highly significant events. And guys, listen, in my Metaverse Everything podcast, I do have a standalone episode only about the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and I also have a standalone episode on Metaverse in Dubai, Middle East, in Dubai and UAE. And look, guys, a massive trend which I'm observing, particularly since 2023, is Saudi Arabia is definitely making a lot of news, particularly in the world of Metaverse. And Saudi Arabia continues to play a leading role in the drive to unlock the vast potential of the Metaverse. An esteemed panel of industry experts will evaluate submissions from across the globe. A short list of potential winners will be announced ahead of the high-profile event, and the organizers have selected Riyadh as a natural choice to host the first edition of the award. And Chris Fountain is the CEO of the organizing committee for Metaverse Discovery and the World Metaverse Awards. But what are your thoughts, guys? Mention them in the comments below. So those are the news, guys, from Crypto and Coffee 88 from Blockchain DXP. In case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxp.com, and also check out my other website www.blockchaindxp.com, and also check out my other website area2071.com that talks everything about Metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes is going to be an Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's kick start with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's Josh from Blockchain DXP. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. I have a question by Dave who asks, do you think we are heading for an economic collapse? Now listen, Dave, this is definitely not financial advice. One thing which I agree to is that the US debt ceiling is in the danger zone. And one thing which a lot of people don't understand when you talk about the US debt ceiling is that the debt ceiling is the limit that the total amount of money that the country of United States government is authorized to borrow to meet its existing legal obligation. Now this, Dave, includes social security number, medical benefits, military salaries, and recently I do believe that the left-leaning government, they were planning to raise, I believe, roughly around $800 billion for IRS tax agents as well. Now you need to understand the debt limit also includes interest on the national debt, tax refunds, and other payments as well. And if I'm not mistaken, Dave, the debt ceiling is roughly at $30 trillion. And before President Donald Trump, the US debt ceiling was roughly at $20 trillion. So this is definitely not ideal. And a few months ago, I did talk about how the US government is actually planning to raise the debt ceiling. And the debt ceiling date, I believe, Dave, is roughly in June. The US could face default as soon as June if the debt ceiling isn't lifted. And this, Dave, would have absolutely catastrophic impact, particularly for US. Now once that thing happens, I'm pretty much sure it's going to have a negative impact on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as well. Now I'm pretty much sure we are definitely heading towards, if not one of the greatest economic disasters in times such as this. There is a solution. Now really, Dave, not financial advice, and this is just my opinion. Now the solution, unfortunately, in times such as this, is war. Because war does provide a gateway for notorious politicians to restructure the debt ceiling without causing harm to the US economy. Now let me know what your thoughts are. Now one thing you need to understand, the Middle East is definitely not in good terms with the US, and recently they also formed BRICS, that is Brazil, Russia, India, and China, where they've completely ditched the US dollar. Now really I'm not sure how the left-leaning administration will be reacting to this. I wouldn't be surprised if you're expecting an unfortunate geopolitical situation which leads to war. This brings to the million-dollar question, and this is something which Balaji Srinivasan is banking on. Now he did mention about all these things, and he also mentioned about the banking industry. So if you look at it at a macro level, I'm kind of getting this feeling that what Balaji Srinivasan is saying might be right, because the recent banking collapse will have an absolutely devastating impact, keeping in mind the US debt ceiling and the amount of excessive money printing going on. Now, if all these things happen, I really am not sure if his prediction of $1 million is a possibility. Definitely unlikely, but you never say never. What happens if there is a war? I really am not sure if the price of Bitcoin will completely collapse as well, because historically, Bitcoin has not provided to be a safe haven in terms of, let's say, COVID crisis or even during times of inflation. And unfortunately, Bitcoin has been working in tandem with the inflation is going up, the prices of Bitcoin is going down, and that should not have been the case. It would have made sense if the inflation was shooting up and the price of Bitcoin was going higher, which means people are no longer relying on the US dollar, rather they are relying on the price of Bitcoin, and the inflation going down has increased the price of Bitcoin, which does not make any sense, which just means that people are more invested in the value of US dollar. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens towards May and in the month of June. So those are my thoughts regarding that, Dave. So that's all for today, guys, from Crypto and Coffee 88 Ask Me Anything series. And in case if you have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxp.com. check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com and also check out my other website area2071.com that talks everything about Metaverse. And if you like listening to this, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating and share the word across. And remember guys, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto and Coffee at 8, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. And how this series of episodes into Crypto and Coffee at 8 works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi and Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening guys and have a nice one. Bye bye.